Basic knowledge shows that one of the major needs of human is shelter. In Nigeria, over 80% of our population are living in slums, otherwise known as unplanned settlements, with limited access to pipe-borne water and basic social amenities. While those in the urban centers are living in rented accommodation that takes away almost 40% of their income, with no adequate facilities for water or electricity.
The situation of housing is that we take it the way it comes on that play and believe the government will do more, do better something at least to help the masses.
The challenges faced by Nigerians on housing are countless, from high rent fees to low-quality housing and absence of accessible roads. But none of these challenges can be compared to affordability.
If government can build an affordable house schemes where this less privilege will be able to afford. Imagine in FCT, people can no longer see a room for 500,000 naira. A room is going 1.5. The masses has been denied their rights in respect to housing schemes.
As Nigeria marks her 63rd anniversary since her freedom from colonial rule, one major area that has been a center of concern is the provision of affordable housing. How has the housing sector fared in the last 63 years? Arguably, Nigeria started out well after independence with forward-looking national development plans that had ambitious housing development components. This was the period of low-cost housing by the then President Shehu Shagari at the federal level and Lateef Jakonde in Lagos. With a growing population of 200 million and high urbanization growth rate estimated at 4 to 5% per annum, housing stock in Nigeria is said to be between 12 million and 15 million units, while an unconfirmed record shows that about 25 million households with 6 members each don't have homes of their own. According to reports, out of 200 million Nigerians, only 8 million people qualify for the luxury property market, adding that while there is more than enough for the latter, hardly any thought is spared for the remaining 192 million citizens. Today, the accurate data for Nigeria's housing deficit is still a mirage. This unknown deficit data, according to experts, requires building over 700,000 housing units yearly for the next 20 years and spending about 56 trillion naira to close, meaning that to effectively house its citizens, Nigeria needs to spend its annual budgets for over 5 years on housing development alone. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his Renewed Hope Action Plan, has outlined ambitious milestones that he hopes to implement to change the narrative and unlock potential of the housing sector to boost economic development, create jobs, foster inclusive growth, and ensure access to affordable and decent housing for all. This includes notably the utilization of 20% of the cash reserve fund in CBN, set aside to promote long-term 20 to 30-year mortgages and affordable consumer credits, reviewing the PENCOM regulations to allow increased investment of pension funds in the mortgage asset class, working with state governments to provide credits and incentives to developers of affordable housing, amongst others. To drive the vision, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR appointed architect Ahmed Musa Dangewa as the Minister for Housing and Urban Development. Architect Dangewa brings to the Tinubu cabinet over 30 years of experience in the real estate, mortgage financing, and housing development that span private and public sectors as well as academia.
Along with the vision of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GSFR, I promise to take bold initiatives which should champion strategic housing reforms and break the systemic barriers to housing and urban development. We will work closely with the National Assembly to review all the relevant laws and streamline land and housing administration and create a conducive environment for investment in the housing sector. For me, I believe that housing is not just about brick and mortar. It is also about creating communities, building families, and ensuring that every Nigerian has a place they can call home. I'm here to work with you towards making that possible.
These reforms, if successfully implemented, will no doubt increase liquidity in the housing market and also create the enabling environment necessary for much-needed enhanced private sector participation. Our hope is that as we celebrate Nigeria at 63, housing will be given its rightful place in the order of priorities at the top, or at least close to the top. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria.